Today I'm bringing you a seemingly cliché tale of the ugly duckling and the bad boy, our times. But the true protagonist of this film isn't simply the version of Lin Zhengxin and Shu Taiyu living in the past. It is you sitting before the screen, long since crushed by the weight of life. Through a grand spectacle of nostalgia, the film ruthlessly interrogates all of us whose rough edges have been filed down by reality. Do you still remember your once courageous self? Have you become the person you most wanted to be back then? This is perhaps the real reason why 10 years after its legendary release, it can still move us to tears so easily. Curtain rises on this fateful story centered on an adult Lin Zhengxian, who is no longer a young girl but a woman suffocating under the pressure of life. In a modern urban office building, she plays an awkward middle management role. To those above, she must endure her boss's unreasonable demands for overtime, only to be met with a dismissive "keep it up." To those below, she faces the contempt and ridicule of a new generation of subordinates. They whisper behind her back, calling her an old maid, mocking how she treats the office like home, while the company treats her like a machine.
Honestly, I think people like her are pretty pathetic, I hope, when I'm older.
Many view this opening as a mere prelude. It is actually the thematic hook of the entire film. The core of the movie isn't just about reminiscing, it's about using the past to save the present. Adult Lin Zhengxin's dilemma is the source of all of the film's emotional power. Her suppressed numbness and lackluster life constitute the first and most heart-wrenching question the director poses to us. Her life is consumed by work, oppressive and dull, stripped of all color. Her emotional world is equally barren. She has a high-profile boyfriend, handsome and wealthy, who doesn't love her at all. There's an insurmountable chasm between them, a lack of genuine emotional connection. Relationship is more of a formality to satisfy family expectations. One sleepless night, she happens upon a long-forgotten high school yearbook. Every youthful face and innocent message in the album acts as a key, instantly unlocking the floodgates of memory. Just then, over the radio, Andy Lau's classic Forget Love Water happens to play. Andy Lau, he was the spiritual icon of her entire youth. The familiar melody, like a powerful surge of warmth, instantly strikes the most vulnerable part of her heart. It pulls her thoughts back to the world, the 1990s. Taiwanese high school campus. It's here we meet the girl with frizzy, messy hair, the utterly unremarkable Lin Zhengxin. Her mornings always begin with a piercing alarm, followed by a frantic rush, disheveled hair, and a mouthful of toothpaste as she rushes out. Outside her door, the teasing cheers of several boys lead her to think she's the center of attention, making her smile shyly. Yet the boys' gaze passes right over her, ending instead on the elegant school bell tower meme behind her. This brief scene perfectly defines Lin Zhengxin's place. An average girl who longs to be noticed yet remains lost in the crowd. In an age without smartphones, fandom culture was the greatest thrill for young girls. She naively believed that whoever owned the most idol photos was the most worthy of marrying him. Of course, besides idols, every girl's youth must also have a male god within reach. For Lin Zhengxin and every girl in school, the god was Yuan Faifan. He's an all-around student, gentle and refined, the most dazzling presence on the basketball court. A single glance or a casual smile from him could make Lin Zhengxin giggle all day long. He became the sweetest secret in her ordinary life. On a campus where love letters were flying everywhere, Lin Zhengxin unexpectedly received a letter too. Overjoyed, she thought her time to bloom had finally come. But upon opening the envelope, it wasn't the love letter she expected, but a cursed chain letter. The recipient had to copy it 5 times within 3 days and send them out, or be haunted by misfortune. This letter is an intriguing reflection of adolescent psychology, steeped in irrational superstition, yet mixed with a girl's hidden jealousy and a simple sense of justice. While Lin Zhengxin fretted over who to pass this hot potato to, she caught the school bully Shu Taiyu bullying her idol Ouyang Faifan. A plan formed in her mind, and she sent the letters to 3 people. Her strict math teacher Tao Min, the school belle favored by Ouyang, whose popularity sparked her jealousy, and the school bully Shu Taiyu, who was harassing her crush. Lin Zhengxin thought it was just a harmless prank, but she never expected the letter's curse to actually come true. On the very afternoon Shu Taiyu received the letter, he was hit by a car. This completely infuriated Shu Taiyu and his gang. They were determined to find the person who cursed their boss. Soon Shu Taiyu's lackeys found the original chain letter in Lin Zhengxin's desk, immediately identifying their target. After school, Lin Zhengxin was cornered by several hoodlums and forcibly brought before Shu Taiyu. In a dimly lit room, the atmosphere is suffocatingly tense. Taiyu sits boldly on the sofa, exuding a powerful aura. Terrified by the scene, Lin Zhengxin is on the verge of tears. Taiyu looks at her with a knowing smirk, having already seen through it all. He pointedly notes that she sent the letter just to protect Ouyang Faifan. To escape the predicament, Lin Zhengxin thinks on her feet. She starts to flatter him frantically. Shu Taiyu. She praises his height and looks, saying he even resembles Andy Lau up close. Then Shu Taiyu shifts the conversation and makes a request she can't refuse.
Let's be friends.
From that day on, the word friend was redefined by Shu Taiyu. Lin Zhengxin became his on-call lackey, not only doing his homework every day, but also running errands to buy his meals. Shu Taiyu's demands for a friend are extremely picky. The sesame sauce must be separate from the noodles and no green onions in the vegetable tofu soup. What's even more outrageous, he dragged Lin Zhengxin, a good girl who never skipped class, to ditch school for the roller rink. At the rink, Shu Taiyu is confronted by rival school thugs over past grudges. At a critical moment when he is outnumbered, Lin Zhengxin, hiding in a corner, thinks fast and tosses him an expandable baton, helping him drive the thugs away. But in doing so, the thugs take note of this girl named Lin Zhengxin. News of the truant brawl quickly reached the school authorities. Lin Zhengxin was summoned to the discipline office to protect her idol Ouyang Faifan. She has no choice but to lie and provide cover for Shu Taiyu.
What happened?
Why, you skipped class to visit a den of vice. I'm sentencing you to 10 hours of campus service. Clean the pool, now go.
As a blessing in disguise, once Ouyang Faifan hears of this, even took the initiative to strike up a conversation and invited her to go skating sometime.
Wow, you're actually pretty impressive. I like skating too. Let's go together sometime.
These few words from her heartthrob instantly made Lin Zhengxin beam with joy. Even cleaning the pool under the scorching sun felt like pure bliss. However, happiness is fleeting. Just as she was basking in her joy, she accidentally overheard a shocking secret between Ouyang Faifan and Tao Min. They were having a baby. It was like a bolt from the blue, instantly shattering all her girlish fantasies, staying the two walking in her direction. She panicked and dove into the pool to hide. Not even the icy water could cool the burning ache in her heart. In her moment of despair, Shu Taiyu suddenly appeared, jumped into the pool and pulled her out. But back on dry land, Shu Taiyu ended up crying even harder than she did. On the rooftop, Lin Zhengxin revealed the secret she had overheard, and Shu Taiyu confessed that he had always liked Tao Min. These two lovesick souls found common ground in their shared misery, and so they hit it off and decided to form the Losers in Love Alliance. With the shared goal of breaking up, Ouyang Faifan and Tao Min paved the way for their own happiness. The formation of this alliance is a brilliant plot device. It provides the protagonists with a perfect excuse for frequent interaction. More importantly, it reveals a fundamental truth about adolescent emotions. Sometimes we only fall for an imaginary perfect projection. But while we strive toward that projection, in the midst of fighting side by side, we inadvertently notice the real flawed yet far more lovable person right next to us. To set their plan in motion, the two began to keep a close eye on Ouyang and Min. Baby they were talking about turned out to be nothing more than a stray dog they had secretly adopted together. The misunderstanding was cleared, but raising a dog together signaled that their feelings for each other were blossoming. Oh, Taiyu staged a grand over-the-top public confession, only to be ruthlessly rejected by Tao Min. When that failed, he dragged Lin Zhengxin along to kidnap the puppy. As they awkwardly hid on the rooftop, the puppy peed on Shu Taiyu. His flustered reaction made Lin Zhengxin realize for the first time that beneath his fierce school bully persona, he actually possessed a heart of pure innocence. The lucky letter incident finally came to light, and Teacher Wang was furious. Due to an anonymous tip, Lin Zhengxin was summoned to the office.
To be honest, I had high expectations for you.
At this critical juncture, Shu Taiyu suddenly stepped forward. He admitted to sending the letter, taking the blame to protect Lin Zhengxin. Lin Zhengxin was stunned. She never expected the bad boy who always bullied her would shield her in her time of need. It was from this very moment that her perception of Xu Taiyu began to shift fundamentally. This stark contrast piqued her curiosity. She began to investigate his past, and through Ouyang Faifan, she finally uncovered a long-buried secret. As it turned out, Xu Taiyu, Ouyang Faifan, and another friend, Ma Xiwan, used to be an inseparable trio. Once Xu Taiyu and Ma Xiwan made a bet to race each other in the sea, which resulted in Ma Xiwan's tragic drowning. This incident dealt a devastating blow to Xu Taiyu. Consumed by deep self-reproach and guilt, he became a completely different person, punishing himself through rebellion and academic neglect. Upon learning the truth, Lin Truli's feelings for Haya Xu Taiyu shifted from initial fear and helplessness to understanding, compassion, and a hint of indescribable affection. She resolved to help him step out of the shadows. She approached Hashu Taiyu and challenged him to a roller skating race, with the loser having to grant the winner one unconditional wish. Truly, who could barely even keep her balance, fell time and again, but kept picking herself back up, despite her knees being black and blue. She gritted her teeth and persevered. Finally, she mustered the courage to speak from her heart. The words, "Can you be Hashu Taiyu again?" struck his heart with a soft yet heavy blow, like a piercing beam of light. It cut through his long-standing darkness. It was more than just a plea. It was a profound form of being seen and believed in. She saw the vulnerability beneath his hardened shell, and believed he could become his former exceptional self once more. From that day on, Hashu Taiyu truly changed. He no longer slept through class, but instead pulled long-neglected textbooks from his desk. This plot perfectly illustrates the psychological concept of empathy and unconditional positive regard. Previously, everyone, including Hashu Taiyu himself, had only seen his rebellious behavior. Truly was the first person to seek the motives behind his actions, helping him realize that it wasn't his fault, and aiding his reconciliation with the past. To study alongside him, Truly also decided to change herself. She underwent 2 makeovers. The first was a total disaster, marked by Hashu Taiyu.
Are you my high school teacher? He teased.
Despite his playful disdain when he saw a car approaching, he instinctively pulled her into his arms. At the moment she was held in his embrace, Lin Zhengxin could clearly feel his heartbeat, her own heart, a swirl of panic and sweetness. Their relationship underwent a subtle yet profound shift through these small unintentional details. He began to realize his heart was quietly straying from its original course. He hesitated when filling in the crush section of his profile card. The name he once would have written without a second thought now began to feel blurred and uncertain. When Lin Zhengxin saw a life-size cutout of Andy Lau, she rushed forward to embrace it in excitement. Xu Taiyu watched Lin Zhengxin, who was completely lost in her own world at that moment. Instead of mocking her fangirl frenzy, he made a very earnest promise.
One day, I'll have Andy Lau sing. Just for you.